Hey everybody, we are live and I have not been live in a very long time, so let's do this. We're going to be sending this out, so don't mind. Let's see, let's send this out to everybody, including our guest tonight. Let's see, Peru. Send separately. Oh, hello everybody. Wow. You guys beat me to it. Hi, everybody. We're just waiting. Oh, Aria already is requesting. Did that work? I'm just waiting for Aria to hop on, except it worked.
Hi.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited for this. Let me just fix my camera. Hello, everybody who's joining in. There we go. All right, so we're on time. I can't tell you. I don't know when's the last time I was ever on time. So this is like exciting.
Really? Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. Hold on. I'm sorry. I have some connections. I'm just trying to set up the camera right now. So,
No
yeah.
problem. Take your time. Hello, everybody that's joining in. All right, so I'm your favorite MINDMINX. If someone else is in the room that is watching it on their phone, that we're going to hear theirs. So if they could turn down their volume.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. There's like a bit of stereo sounds because I also have it connected in some way so I could hear it better because
Okay.
my phone's a bit wonky like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No problem. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yes, I
All
can.
right. All right. So I want to say a special hello. First, I want to ask you, is this your first podcast interview?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. I am very excited to be here.
I'm super excited for this. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so then I want to take the opportunity to say hello, everybody. I'm your favorite MINDMINX, and this is the MINDMINX Show. And I want to introduce Aria J. Tunes. And I have sent this out to all my podcasting friends, and one of them just hopped on. Jason Enrique just hopped on. So I wanted to make sure that they all got to meet you as well. And you have a really special story because you started your journey at a very young age. So I want you to go ahead and tell us, how old were you when you first started singing?
Well, I've been honestly been involved with music ever since I was young. I've always loved hearing music, playing music, trying to do stuff on my own, but singing just came naturally to me. I started singing when I was, I started when I was like 3 before I started actually singing and doing lessons when I was 6.
But you were singing at 3. That,
Yeah.
that was amazing. All right, so let's get through some bio stuff. So you're 16 years old and you just turned 16, right?
Yes, I just turned 16 like a couple months ago.
And so you're a musician and a vocalist. You are a New Jersey native. And so you started singing at the age of 3. And, this was something that, again, was very natural for you. So at the age of 6, you started getting vocal lessons and piano lessons. But it was so natural that you wrote your first song at the age of 6. And I want to talk about your first song because and luckily you have all of this documented and it's on your page. What was your first song about?
Yes. So I never really had a certain idea of how a song's supposed to be. I'm not really that much of a lyrical person. I never really had like such an intention to like, write something that day. I just thought like, oh, it'd be cool if I had this melody. Like I really think of melodies before I think of the actual lyrics, which
Okay.
is kind of, funny enough. And so for the first song, I just honestly thought of like some random rhymes and I don't even know I wrote about this, but it was about like I wanted my toys to be real, but they didn't believe me, so I'm asking God to help me. Thought it was a bit, funny, I guess. And I found like a soundtrack on some random YouTube website, and I'm like, and for some reason, like it was before we were about to go to a pool party, and I was telling my mom like, Mom, film me, and so she filmed me, and it was like a first try type of thing. She filmed myself, and I also wrote this. I keep a post on called hashtag Aria Throwback Thursdays, where it's just more like, you know, little cute young memories for me to document.
Hmm.
And I wrote in the description that like the like video was around like 4 minutes long or something, and I didn't know how long the song was gonna take over. And so like instead of like just cutting it or just stopping randomly, I like improvised the whole thing through. And I just thought that's really cool, you know, like having your first song, first live performance, but then also being able to like improvise during like hard situations, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that's super sweet that you have that memory because listening back to it and even thinking back now, 10 years later, thinking back as, you know, a much more mature young woman, don't you think that that's a super poignant idea to have as a 6-year-old that, you know, you want your toys to be real and you did that. You did that as a 6-year-old.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's something that you wouldn't see every day in a kid. That's all I could say for sure.
Especially not a 6-year-old. And then to actually create it and verbalize it. So
Hmm.
how has that progression changed over the past 10 years, verbalizing and creating your music?
Well, I mean, it's definitely not like an elementary student anymore, that's for sure. Um, I guess I would say a lot of different things. Over like the past 10 years since I wrote my first song, I really loved playing different instruments, and I became a huge fan of, you know, diving into other genres instead of pop music, because my first song was a quote unquote pop
Mhm.
song. So I love diving into like deep genres, and I was part of a band where we really just dove in, and we just found out all these like, you know, new like nuances that we can put into our everyday playing. And I think now like with my new song coming out, I'm planning on incorporating new genres and incorporating new like things I've learned online and things I've learned over the like past 10 years. As for, you know, lyrics though, I would like to say that I think I actually had things to write about now. There's just different experiences that come over the way, and the best way I cope with them and I deal with my emotions is just writing about them down. You know, at the end of the day, that just makes a great song at the end. Even not even to anyone, but to me, you know?
Right, of course. Now, a lot of your experiences, you know, a lot of people may say, well, you're only 16. What kind of experiences could you possibly? Hi, Rachel. I know we were expecting you. Um, but you do have a lot of worldly experiences because you do have a unique opportunity to travel because your heritage is in India, and you get to do a lot of traveling, especially over your summer vacations. How has that impacted your influence and your style of writing?
Well, my style of writing, I feel oddly enough, English was not my best subject. I thought I wasn't a good writer, but like I feel like as I started practicing more and more lyrics, I realized, you know, I loved writing when it comes to these certain paragraphs. And for the actual inspiration behind most of them, they're just things I had to deal with over the years. And some of it I can't specify because the music's coming very
I know,
soon.
I know,
So
I know.
yes, but as for like India, for example, instead of like really traveling, like I go there to see my family because it's really honestly one of my only family is in India, where it's like the other half of the world. And as you know, I live in America, and that's not very close to India. So I am very grateful to have the opportunity to even see them once a year, like every year. And that is something I realized even like throughout, like, I don't know, almost like tens of thousands of miles away. Like I
Mhm.
still have a very close bond with them, even though I haven't met them. Like I've only met them technically, what, 16 times?
Right.
And
Culturally, how do you feel that impacts, you know, because you have your upbringing here in the US and then you get to see the cultural difference over there. Do you find it to be that much more impactful being able to experience that?
yeah, Yeah, I mean, in different many ways. I feel like being mixed, it's honestly a curse and a blessing. I really get to experience both sides of the situation, but at times I get to really experience none. Sometimes I'm just not, quote unquote Indian enough, or sometimes I'm like, not white enough, because I do live in like a predominantly white area. I really don't have that type of inspiration of color in me sometimes. So that's why, though, in India, though, I do get to see a lot of, how like culture brings upon. And especially one thing I do is I like see there's a huge, poverty change rate like in India, with all like how all the homeless people and the different caste levels. So I go over and I love to, help out. My whole family is a huge, like, we're huge on helping out other people, because we have a lot of wants in the world, but some people don't even have the needs in the world that they want. And I feel like India is one of the hugest examples that I could think of, because I remember even since I was young, my family has taught me, to donate to the poor and to help out the poor. And even like if it comes from your heart, that's enough value that you need.
So Rachel actually brought up a really great question. Has the Indian music and pop culture influenced your music?
That's a good question. I really didn't know too much. I'm not really like a practice, what's it called, Indian classical musician, but my mom is, and she really like, even when I was young, she always sang those, they call them gamakas, where it's kind of they're pitching their own voice, in certain ways with their like different sounds. And I feel like that's something that really, influenced me. And I even loved, like, whenever I was in India, I had a grandmother, and I think it was actually really funny. I think like I got my voice down from the maternal side, because she also loved to sing, and she at 80 like 4 or 5, she's very, very great singer. And I could see Rachel also said, what about Bollywood? I was actually going to lead up to that point, so thank you, Rachel. So Bollywood actually did help me a lot, because there's classical and now there's modern, and both of them nitpicks in a certain way. Like I said, my grandmother was a huge fan of classical Bollywood, and I can remember so many like 40s, 50s classical Bollywood songs. And even now in like modern ones, it's not that much of like, gamakas, but it's more of like, a DJ type of like, like bouncing Punjabi like dance music. And those influence me in certain ways. I'm actually planning on making a song where it's very, Indian inspired, but with a mix of like, American like, pop slash dance. And I feel like in certain ways, Indian music has influenced me, even in the tiniest ways.
Okay. Now, do you find that you would want that niche to influence it in a larger way, or do you want to create your own niche in the U.S. pop culture, or what genre do you find yourself nesting in the U.S.?
Honestly, that's a great question. I'm actually like with my album specifically, like my debut album, the main point of it is I don't want to put myself into a label, because I know that in such like American societies and even worldwide societies, they're known for putting people into certain boxes in certain areas that, you know, at like maybe in a couple of years I would not like to be fitting into. And as soon as someone changes, the whole crowd goes wild, like as if there's some type of object. And I don't want to play that game. And even with my debut album, it's something that's for me to, experience new things and try out new things. And even if I don't like them, that's okay. And I just always like to say to myself, try everything once if it doesn't hurt you or others. And
Okay.
I like sticking to that, definitely. But right now, I would say as a musician, I am a pop, R&B, jazz vocalist and musician.
Okay. So Rachel has a follow-up. She asked if you have any fans in India.
Oh, of course, my family, I actually, my uncle owns a hospital, and he knows very like people, like even if they're the staff, the patients, and As you know, India has a huge population. So at this point, I feel like, at least a couple hundred people know about me. So, I mean, I would say, yeah, they're fans. And I do appreciate that there are fans all over the world. I have fans in Brazil, I have fans in Canada. And I feel like what's great about this is that, like, people can hear, like, I would call them American music. People all over the world can hear different music from all over the world and get an incorporation about it, think about it. And that's why I like incorporating that into my different pieces, because if they don't like the song, that's okay. There's plenty of you to try. And I like to say with my music that I want at least one person to like one thing about any song. It doesn't even have to be the whole song. Because if you do, you learn a bit more about yourself.
Okay. I love that. Now, Rachel's going to be bogarting all the questions, so she's asking good ones. Who is your favorite artist? Do you have one at this point?
At this point, I really don't. Everyone's so different, and I feel like, there's just so much that you can grab from any artist, whether it's good or bad or not even either. But I mean, I'm not gonna say my favorite artist is myself because, I like taking inspiration from others. And I would definitely say the current favorites right now are anywhere from Amy Winehouse to Billie Eilish to Hiatus Coyote to Lauryn Hill. There's a whole bunch, but those are the ones I've been really liking right now.
Okay. Rachel?
You there? Knock knock.
Well, I wanted to go back because you said you do have fans in Brazil. So I wanted to segue into, because your vocal coach is also from Brazil. And you've been working with her for the past couple of years now. How has it been working with someone of that caliber? And I don't want to mess up her name, so you go ahead and say her name for me.
Yada.
Yada. See, I would have messed that. I would have butchered that. How has it been? Because she is, go ahead, speak on her.
Yeah, she is very great. She has so much experience in Brazil, in America, all over the world. And honestly, she helped me with a lot of things. And I feel like it's very great having her as a vocal coach. I've had her for almost 3 years now. And she's helped me with a ton of things, from singing to finding my own voice to finding songs I'd be good with. She was also helping me perform at live gigs and, audition for different like talent areas. And she was actually in the what's it called? There's a Brazilian Idol that she was the judge for. So she actually knows how to be on TV, and she was a judge there. So she had to have a personality and a mindset for the TV, and she actually taught me a lot about that. And even with social media, and I wouldn't even call her a vocal coach. She's just been like a coach to guide me throughout this, very extensive, tough journey.
I love that. And how has it been, being that she's not obviously can't always be present with you in person? How has that relationship been long distance for you with her?
I'm sorry, could you clarify a bit?
So you guys don't get to be together in the same room when this coaching is happening. So how does that
We
dynamic?
do,
Oh, you
actually.
how often? Oh,
Yeah.
you do? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Because I figured that she would be in Brazil.
Oh, no. So she's from Brazil, but she's currently
Oh,
here to, live
okay,
here.
okay.
Okay, yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
But no, so she comes over with me and we practice. But yes, having her in person is also very great, and even online, because before like I post some videos, I always ask her, make sure it's good, and she's always been good in person, online. So yeah.
So we did talk about this earlier, but when did you discover you had this gift for music?
Um, for music, I would say, um, honestly, ever since I was born. But I've been like, practicing more and more and more until I was around 6 years old. And then I started doing things more professionally by taking professional vocal lessons. But yeah, no, I've even like playing different instruments, I've always played them by ear. I remember when I was 3 or 4 playing fur by ear. just on a random toy piano. So I thought that was a bit interesting.
I love that. So what instruments do you play? Because when I read your bio and you listed the instruments, these are not, okay, maybe the guitar a little bit, but the other instruments are not something that you just pick up by ear.
I get it. Yeah. So, um, other than singing, I've been taking professional classical piano lessons for at least 10 years now. And even my piano teacher has helped me a lot with the concepts of music theory and jazz and everything like that. And I've also been playing like you said, the guitar. I've been playing it for around 3 years now, and all of it is
Yeah.
self-taught. I never really got any lessons or anything. I just recently found out, I have a love for playing the guitar and I love jamming out with it and even learning new things and new, like, what are they called? Bar chords and jazz chords and complex, like, strummings. I've been playing the bass as well for 3, 4 years, around 4 years, I think. And it's actually a bit funny because when I was in a couple of bands, one of them we were doing was like Taylor Swift versus Fleetwood Mac, which is more like a compilation of just putting those two things together and then calling it, oh, it's like a, type of thing. And everyone I was in the band with wanted to just sing Taylor Swift and play piano for Taylor Swift. And they're like, we need a bassist. I'm like, okay, I could be the bassist. So I learned how to play bass then and learned tablature, self-taught myself everything.
Wow.
And I think that's very nice because, piano's the gateway to different instruments. And then I actually, I do play the saxophone and I do play actually flute. Before I played saxophone, I played the flute for a year or two. And I picked up the saxophone very easily, and now I'm playing college level music in saxophones. So yeah,
And the saxophone was self-taught.
the saxophone was not self-taught though.
Oh, okay.
It was alongside like the school. I'm part of like my school's
Band.
band program.
Okay, all
So
right.
I, play with that.
When I read that, I was highly impressed. I thought that was self-taught. I was like, I'm impressed. That's not something you just pick up. So
No, no, definitely not. I did actually learn the flute a bit self-taught, so that's a bit cool to know, I
no,
guess.
that's definitely cool. I'm impressed by that because you're only 16. So let's go back to the songwriting process. How long does it take? Because you have already written 11 songs for your album that you want to be able to put out by next year. What is your songwriting process?
Honestly, for writing a song or just completing a song, because there's like,
Yeah, from start to finish, when you're writing a song and then putting the melody together and putting the soundtrack together, what is your process and how long does that take? Because I've gotten the opportunity to interview some artists before, and they'll say to me, they'll do it in their car in like half an hour, which is like mind blowing to me.
no,
So I
it's
like asking this question, like how long, what is the process for you? Because if you've already written 11, you're 16. So I just want to put it out there. You're 16 years old. You just started junior year. You're honors AP student. You do a lot of extracurricular activities such as cooking, reading, painting. You're an artist. I don't know if anybody's not, if you're not following her, you got to follow her because the artwork is beautiful. What else am I missing? There was something else I was missing that I wanted to bring up. You have a lot of stuff going on in your day-to-day routine. So to also have written 11 songs, three of which you plan on debuting, one next week, one next month, and one in November. What does that process for you look like?
well, it's a lot, but also very easy for me at the same time. It depends on the certain song. I will give you an example with, for example, Why. Why is my debut single coming out September 15th on all platforms, so stay tuned. So for this one, it was a lot about world corruption. And as a teenager, a mixed teenager, and a female living in, the world societies, I'm really a minority. And surprisingly, it's honestly unfortunate to say that, sometimes I can get discriminated based off of how people I am and how I look. And I feel like I was noticing these things and noticing how much the world really just, you know, like took on the role about this and how divided the world actually is. So I wrote about this and wrote about different situations that had to go throughout it. And for this one, actually, I was in my history class writing it. And I don't know, I guess I really didn't like my history class that day.
Like, we're not gonna.
Yeah. And
It was part of the
that,
assignment.
yeah, the first, like, the chorus just got to me so quickly. The melody, the music I thought of, and as I was writing it, the music was just playing in my head. More and more things were coming together. And this took me around, I think, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And it was just, really weird to say how quickly it was coming together so soon. I felt like it was just meant to be as well. And however, when I was in the studio and I was making my song, it took a couple months at the minimum. It took a very long time, I would say, yeah, a couple months to 6 months, I think. I don't know the exact time because it all comes in different deadlines.
Okay.
But when I was in the studio, we changed things up very, very quickly. I still had the same chorus, the same vibe, the same melody, but it was, we were changing different sections. I guess it was very repetitive, my original idea, and I wanted to add horns and just never really came to be. So we put one section here, put it over here, and we're like, can we put in a different melody? And although we kind of mishmashed it together, it still sounded great. And I feel like I love that version more than how I had it originally. And it's good to know that I should have a second ear when it comes to different ideas and musics.
So you're open to that constructive criticism.
Yes, and that's definitely one thing I had to learn eventually over time because the music industry that I've heard is super harsh and, you know, talking about like certain issues and trying to put it out this way, people are going to tear you down. And sometimes it's just easier to, I don't know how to explain it, like kind of put yourself into your own standards and listen to other people because sometimes they're even right about certain situations, and having an open mind is one thing, definitely.
Well, I love that at 16 that you're able to appreciate that. That's super smart. Now, Rachel brought up a really great question that definitely segues in from my question. How do your friends support? Let's see, what do your friends think of your career? Are they supportive of your artistic aspirations and your higher profile? Um, and how do you manage having a normal teen life? Um, Considering you do have these artistic aspirations and this higher profile?
Yes. Well, my friends absolutely love this. They completely support me 110%. They always ask me, when's the update? What's the update? What's the update? When's it coming out? When's it coming out? How do I pre-save, So they've been super supportive since the beginning. And it's good to say that I have different people all over that, support me in different ways. And a couple give me some great music advice, while other ones really help me by saying, just giving me verbal emotional support. And I was actually just walking by my friend one day and she's like, oh my God, I love your music so far. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And she's like, don't worry, I have Spotify Premium. I'm going to be streaming it all day for you. I'm like,
That,
oh my God.
that is awesome.
But as for having a normal team social life, it's honestly, as I become became more and more invested into school, it's actually been a bit quite difficult because of the different, like I've had to, stay up a bit later than I expected studying, and then stay up even more recording, and stay up even more doing covers that I'm not going to post, and some I will post. And when I wake up for school, the first thing I have to do is post and post and post. And some people ask me, why is my schedule, like my posting schedule, so random and like at 1 in the morning? And it's because I'm so busy at school, and it's not something at all that I'm going to be saying that is, what do I call it? It's not something I can try and get myself out of. Because the top thing above this whole entire artistic lifestyle is having a great, stable mindset and education. And I try to balance all of this out because at the end of the day, one of the most important things I've also had to learn that, you know, honestly, my mom has taught me every single day is how to multitask and how to deal with these issues and try balancing them in a way that makes you feel happy and the other people, you know?
Well, you definitely have an amazing support system within your home structure as well. That I think that's beautiful. So I love that for you. So now let's talk about why. It is debuting on September 15th, which is why we're doing this today. And so I'm putting a call out to all of my podcaster friends to see if we can get you on as many podcasts, probably on a similar platform on a live like this, just because I don't know if it'd be too last minute to get you in studio. But I'm definitely putting a call out to all of my friends to get you out there. Now, are you able to do anything for us? I know we had spoken maybe doing a chorus or something, just so we could give everybody a preview of what Y sounds like?
Yes, yes, of course. Please let me know if this is too loud because I am playing it on my speaker. I
Okay.
just didn't know because I didn't want to be muffled, you know?
I love it.
I do actually have a portion of my song on TikTok. I am doing a dance challenge
Yes,
actually.
we are
So,
going to talk about that. We are going to talk
yeah,
about your social media.
but this is a different part. This is the intro. My song doesn't really have that much structure, you know, because doesn't have that much structure compared to the other songs. Because I just wanted to be unique, different parts. Because it's not something repetitive. It's different messages in each line, you know.
Okay.
So this is my intro of the song Why. Hopefully you enjoy.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, hold on. My apologies. Let me connect this back on.
No problem.
If it is too loud, just give me a, signal and I will turn it down, okay?
Okay.
Hold on. Um, okay. Here we go.
Sounds okay. Okay, that sounds good.
So that is the chorus slash intro, my song.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk about your social media. Apparently, 3 weeks ago, your social media was like non-existent. You were not one of those social media kids. And so in
No.
3 weeks, like let's say one, not even like a month now, let's say a month, you have literally tripled, at least tripled your social media presence on TikTok and on Instagram. And you have started a TikTok dance challenge. Talk about that.
Wow, yes. It's honestly been a lot. And I was talking to a couple of people, and the one thing they kept on saying was, to like make sure that you're consistent and active. And I tried every now and then on Instagram and TikTok, I only posted like once every like 3 days, twice every week. And over time, I realized I have to be more consistent so people can be waiting to see what's next, what's going on. So I, decided that I should start posting more, making up new ideas. So on Instagram, at the highest, I was posting once a day. On TikTok, I was posting like thrice a day, like 3 times a day. And that exponentially changed me, like with my views, with my likes. And that was one thing. And another thing was definitely my like networking and my help and my support that I've gotten and how much I've been sorry. I'm sorry, my mom's pointing at her, so I'll be like, me. It's also her too, yes, yes. But it's also been like just connecting out more because when I like I would not even say, yeah, like a month ago, I am still really not a huge social media person when it comes to like my personal life and what I do, because I don't like posting everything. But then I realized on TikTok, hey, I might not like to post everything, but I like to post my music. So let's post my music online. And as of today, I think I have like over 1,000 on Instagram and more.
Yes, almost 1,300,
Oh my
I
God.
think. But more than that, your TikTok.
Yeah. So I have over like 1.3K on Instagram, and then on TikTok, I think I got from like 100 followers to like I think 5,000, which is
Nice.
a shock for me. Yeah, and actually today, I have reached over 10,000 likes on like in total on TikTok, and I was super, super, super happy that day, like today. And my TikTok dance challenge actually has 46,000 views, and I am super beyond happy about this, and I'm so happy that people have been watching it. But yeah, so I do have uh, a wide dance challenge, which is basically my sound, not the one that I just played. It's a different portion of the song.
Mhm.
It's more like the first pre-chorus. And I told people, dance along to it, jam out, use the sound, do whatever you want. Because it has an important message, but it's also catchy as well. And I am actually hosting that as a competition, and the results, like the competition's done by like the 13/14th, and I will be posting the results on my TikTok and Instagram on the 15th.
Okay.
So I am super, super excited. Yes.
How many do you know yet how many people have like submitted their submission, for lack of a better word?
A couple of people. So yeah, it was something I just started kind of recently. So,
Okay. Keep pushing
and
that
it's just
out. Keep pushing that out.
yeah, and it's definitely something like it's my first time doing one of these things. So I don't know how it works out and how it's going, but yeah.
I think that's super exciting. All right. So is there anybody else that has any other questions? And is there anything else that you want to talk about? Where's Rachel? All right. So we have Y coming out on September 15th. In October, you're hoping to release Upset.
Yes, I do have a
So you want to hear those pipes.
oh my God, my voice isn't even prepared yet. Oh my God. Well, hold on, let me explain about upset first, okay? So, oh my God, my mom's like, sing, sing, sing. I'm like,
Well, because so here's the thing. I've looked at all of your reels, and there's one. Yeah, I've been trying to get her to sing live, Rachel. So there's a reel where you're playing with your guitar, and when I tell you that was fucking, I'm sorry, I curse, so I apologize. I keep forgetting you're only
don't worry
16.
about it.
It was
No.
beautiful. And I'm like, I want to hear her do it live. So go ahead, talk about Upset, and then let's see if we can get you to sing something live for us.
Of course, of course. My guitar, I only have electric. I don't have an acoustic guitar. Yeah, I know. I have basically with the guitar I was playing, it was from the school. I don't have an acoustic guitar with me. I'm sorry, yeah. Yeah, definitely. But so I have a second song called Upset. And this one is completely different from the first one you heard, which is Why, coming out on September 15th. So this one is called Upset, and it's more of an like electronic song. It's kind of a dubstep song. And this one is about open-ended threats. It's about some like how I felt and how my emotions are and how I had to deal with them. And it was really interesting. It's honestly one of the most complex songs I made with all the different instruments I played and different like soundtracks. And it's honestly super, super, it's exhausting like to like after all the time I've done, but it's honestly so worth it. And I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So I'm like super excited to release this one out. But yeah, that's the second one coming in October or in the fall.
Oh, her name is her name
Reagan.
is Reagan. No, her name is Aria. So Reagan is somebody else who was in the check-in. But I have a question. I have a question. So Rachel had a good question, and I will come back to that. But I have a question for you. Do you play any of the instruments that are in your final cuts that you're releasing?
Yes, definitely. And why I was the one who played the piano. I also played a bit of the bass and the keyboard in general. Guitar, I never had the opportunity to play that much. It's just never really fit in the music too well.
Okay.
And saxophone, not yet, but
Not yet.
I'm super excited to whenever the time comes around.
Does what is that exciting for you to know that you're playing more than one part in your final music?
Definitely. I love being a musician in my works because I am a musician above being a vocalist, and that's something good to know.
So do you consider yourself an artist as opposed to being a vocalist or a musician?
I do, yeah. Like say, or sorry, are you asking if I'm more of an artist?
Yeah, do you consider yourself an artist where an artist would, okay,
Most definitely. Yeah,
okay.
because I'm also portraying like different types of like art and media throughout myself, generally. My fashion style, the way I do my makeup, the way I pose and act. So I feel like artist slash musician is definitely the best way to incorporate myself into the social media.
All right, everybody's
Yes.
saying sing. So.
Any music requests?
Okay, yeah, any music requests?
Also, something I could preferably sing a cappella, please. Yes.
All right, now everybody's quiet.
Oh, okay.
How about something can you do like Somewhere Over the Rainbow? That's a nice acapella.
Of course. Sorry, my voice isn't the best. Like I said,
Oh,
it's
see,
not
they want to hear why.
okay. It's not the best a cappella because of all the music, but I could definitely sing the intro I just played for sure. Hold on, yeah, definitely. Just give me a second to think of that one.
Okay.
Okay. Like I said, my voice is a bit scratchy, but here. It all flies like a roller coaster. People on the news acting as posters. We never asked for this. Yeah, this is all just shit. No, I don't know why. I don't know why. Why? So that's it. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Aw. Thank you so much for that. That was gorgeous. All right, so I want to get to Rachel's question. Let me, I have to scroll back because I want to get it correctly. What does success in music look like for you?
Like I'm not really whenever I see success, I think the first thing everyone thinks of mine is, oh, finance, money, living in a nice mansion. I'm not that type of person. Honestly, like successfulness is seeing others happy and most importantly, seeing me happy. Because I know so many people that have seen others so happy, but they're just not happy of themselves in general. And I feel like that's something that I want to do. Be happy and make others happy doing what I love. And another thing is like, just even with my like little catchy tunes or my little like songs and music playing, I just want to see someone smile and feel a bit brighter, make their day go better a tiny bit. Because I know there's so much negativity in the world and there's so many things to bring you down. And I've heard of the saying, I think, where like 10 people can make you smile, but one can just tear it all away. And even if one can tear it all away, I think by, listening to my music, just seeing me and, seeing everyone else in the world, hopefully we could just make that smile again.
I love that. That's sweet. Now, do you have any aspirations for it to evolve outside of just being a musician? Like, do you hope that evolves into a different role in the music industry, or do you want to just grow as a musician?
That's a good question. I feel like not really necessarily be a celebrity, but be known for other things. I used to be a model for a while and do like little cute like modeling pictures. So I would want to do a bit of modeling every now and then, but musicians and doing music is my most important thing. And another thing is I do a lot of visual like artwork. I've only posted one thing on my platform, but hoping to post some more very soon. And I feel like even showing off my artwork every now and then is another thing that I would want to do. Just being known for being a medium of art and just being myself.
I love that. Well, I can't wait to revisit a conversation with you in another like 4 years to see how Aria has evolved. And I do have one last question. Aria J Tunes, how did you come up with your name? What does that mean?
Honestly, it's really just something I thought of in mind. Aria obviously is my name. I am Aria Modi. J is from my middle name, which is Jaden, but no one really calls me Jaden. I just really like the name J, so Aria J. And then tunes is just something I came up with. I was gonna do Aria Moody music, but then I realized that music is my thing, but I like making tunes. I like making little things about me singing. I'm someone who likes, doing like live gigs, but I'm also someone who likes singing with like, great acoustics and like, something with a lot of echo. Yeah, I'm like Aria where I perform all over, but I'm also Aria where you'll just hear me randomly humming by a bathroom mirror fixing up my makeup. So, there's just something unique about Aria J Tunes that I just really liked.
Oh, wait, we have a question from Althea. Multi-talented, which one of those is most who you are?
Oh, that is a great question.
Hmm.
Although I would say all of them, which is true, that's who I am, but I would say like from my I would say the music makes me most creative because I feel like that's just in general what, I guess I've always was just like having the talent and just being able to like be myself and also being a fast learner, which I would say is a talent because with how fast society moves you and pushes you, sorry, there is like you have to learn how to grasp things quickly. And honestly, I'm just happy I was born to like be able to grasp things. And although I want to say this is a talent, this isn't a talent because I'm not completely one yet. Doing something like multitasking is something that's also very important that my mother is, hi, she's like on the back, but she is definitely someone who has taught me how to be multitasking and one of my biggest inspirations. So that is something that is also a talent, not even in the music industry, just in general.
I I want to come back around to your mom because she's been a huge part of this for you. She's been so supportive, and she's even in some of your TikToks and your reels. Um,
No, because she sometimes, like, she gets out of work and she's like, Aria, I had the best idea. How about I join your TikToks? I'm like,
I love it.
sure. And
I love
I
it.
like the first time I did that, I'm like, sure, just this one. And then everyone, oh my God.
I love
And then
it.
everyone commented, oh my God, is that your mom? Your mom's a hottie. I'm like,
She
okay.
is a hottie. She is a hottie. 100% she's a hottie. Yeah, you are.
You hear that, mom?
Well, I don't think so, but I'm definitely her biggest fan.
Yeah, you know what Rachel said? She said Parole rocks.
100% the rule rocks.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. Oh, love
So,
you. No,
so
but
I love the support that you got from your mom, but I'm wondering because obviously education again, you are just think that maybe besides being yes, she is absolutely beautiful and talented. Besides being a musician, do you suppose that the music industry would perhaps become part of your education, like being in the industry, not just as a musician, not just as an artist?
Like, like when you mean education wise, do you mean like as going to college
Yeah,
or?
doing it at, you know, becoming a producer, an executive producer, becoming an executive in the industry. Because
Yeah.
you aren't just, you know, a talent. You actually have an education. You are very intelligent. This is something aside from, do you think that, suppose, like, for instance, I have a lot of artist friends that they're super talented, but they also went to school to become a musician's lawyer, let's say. Is that something that you would entertain?
Ooh. Well, I mean, when it comes to going for college, I'm honestly stuck on the idea of doing music in some way, whether it's a major, a minor, even a double major. But
Hmm.
when it comes to the actual industry, I would say just being a musician is enough. Collaborating musician, me as myself as an artist, I
Okay.
would love to become a solo work musician and vocalist. But I do want to become a producer someday,
Okay.
but not really for other clients, just more for myself. I like one great inspiration I really liked for music was Bruno Mars, because
Okay.
you know he's someone who really did honestly anything, joining that like Silk Sonic band, even doing his solo work, but he produces and makes all of his songs mostly, and that's very great and independent for him. And I would love to learn how to produce my own songs. I know how to make them and record and play them, but mixing and mastering is one thing I want to learn, so that not so I can become my own independent artist, but just be able to do that so I can make my own song and then give it to another person, let them hear their opinion, then go to the studio, back, so and
Right,
forth.
right. There's so many hands that'll touch it, and you just want it to be yours. I get that. I love that. All right. So, is there anything else? We got 9 minutes before we would have to say goodnight, but is there anything else that you'd like to say before we
Um,
off?
yeah, let me think. Well, I think one thing that, you know, anyone, I mean, listen, for me, I'm someone who really likes, you know, summaries. I'm not someone who likes hearing the thing without hearing some type of message. So, you know, this would maybe be great for other people to hear. So, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this interview. It's
You're very
honestly
welcome.
very great, especially this being my first one. Hopefully, this was great for you as well as amazing it was for me. Oh, thank you, Jeremy. I really appreciate it. Hearts out to you. Oh, Rachel did say, is there anything about the industry that you hate or wish you could change?
Ooh.
Um, that is a good question. One thing I am not a big fan of is negativity and the harsh rules that the music industry has, you know, put people under. And I feel like that's definitely one thing I wish I could change. I wish that people would be able to be free and do their own music, or even like cancel culture, because like, you know, with pop culture nowadays, they're just very, very harsh and very strict about what you can do, what you can't do. And I wish like if I ever was in that type of fame area or anything, I wish I wasn't going to be, you know, shamed for the slightest thing, even if it was in music. So I think that that's one thing. And yeah, definitely. And you know, I wish people can just accept people for being people. That's another thing, regardless of the music industry. And because I've seen people get so criticized in so many ways, from like, you know, their size to their color to who they are and how they feel. And that's just something I experienced, probably you've experienced someday. Everyone has that experience, at least some type of bit of a negativity. Even I've experienced it probably today in some way. And one thing I said, like to take off, I probably think is, you know, smile at yourself, love yourself. And if someone is, you know, hurting you in any way, shape, or form, physically, mentally, emotionally, then look at yourself and look at them in like the next 5 years. And you're going to see that if you love yourself, you're going to be so much higher than they are, regardless of how much they are really worth, you know? And another thing is just know, like being who you are and doing what you love is another thing. And you know, I might be 16 and I may be able to, you know, like have this ability to quote unquote, you know, do music and quote unquote be multi-talented. I mean, I don't really like to, you know, say these things for myself, but I just like feel like, you know, I'm doing school, I'm an AP student, I'm doing all this hard stuff, but like I'm still taking a chance out there and going into one of, I would say, one of the most harshest like industries in
Yeah, you are.
this social platform.
Yeah.
And that's just something I love to do. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. I made myself happy, and I'm not gonna, never gonna stop trying to do what I love.
I'm really proud of you because you're right. This is one of the most difficult industries to put yourself out into, and you're doing it. You're doing it on your own. You have a beautiful support system, and you're very welcome. I'm super proud that I got to be, you know, the first platform that you got to tell your story on. So I'm
Yes, thank you. And Rachel said that I could put music on YouTube or other platforms.
You
I
can.
actually do. I on my Instagram in my link, I do have a line of socials that I do put my music on. So if you would love to hear that, and also thank you, Rachel, for all the questions.
Yeah.
You were amazing.
Yeah,
Great.
thank you very much. I love that. I love when people ask questions because it gives a different perspective that I may not have thought of. So I very much appreciate that, Rachel, a lot. I appreciate the
Yeah,
follow.
she's actually on the Fox News,
I
so
know.
it's great that
I
she took her
know.
time out here.
I appreciate that 100%. I'm actually a fan, so I appreciate that a lot. So was there anything else that I wanted to say? Oh yeah, everybody can pre-save why right now. The link is in your bio, correct?
Yes, it is.
And
And when it comes out on September 15th, oh, sorry. When it
no,
comes out on September 15th, it will be on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, it's on there. So go ahead and watch it under my name, Aria Modi. Sir? And yeah, so I'm super duper excited for that. And my mom was telling me, sorry.
No, that would be good for people to know.
Yeah, and
People
actually,
that can really
yeah.
keep it in
So
that.
I'm actually September 13th. We are actually pre-releasing my song on the FM Triple Threat FM radio with DJ Echo. So I will be posting this on my platform. So make sure you go follow me on my socials, and I'm gonna let you know more about that. And make sure you download the Triple Threat FM radio app to hear me on September 13th.
all right, that's awesome. Great plug. Awesome plug. Wait, you got to put mom as manager.
God, momager.
Mom. Kris Jenner ain't got nothing on her.
No, she's going to be, no, I think she's going to call me for lessons after this one. Oh my goodness.
Wait, can I screenshot? Rachel just said she's a MINDMINX fan.
What?
I love it. I love it. All right, everybody. So that's it for tonight. I want to thank.
Rachel is the best. We love you, Rachel.
I love Rachel. She's the best. She's the best.
All right. My ears are all red and hot now. Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining in and giving us your time. Thank you, sweetheart. I can't wait for the song to be released and for the 13th to hear you on, say the radio station again.
Triple Threat FM radio. I will be posting this more on my platform. So yes, super excited.
That was a great interview. Thanks everybody for your time. I'm your favorite MINDMINX. This is the MINDMINX show, and we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.